They always say monsters aren't real, that what hides under your bed is just the work of a wild imagination. But what if I told you that for 3 nights, someone very real, was actually there? That I heard him breathe? That I saw nothing until it was too late? My name is Kayla. I'm 22. I live alone. And this is the story of how I survived something that, to this day, I still can't fully explain. But I'm not telling it just to share, I'm telling it because you might be next. Stay until the end. The final truth is something no one could have predicted. And I promise you, it will haunt you long after the story is over. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, and comment below. What would you have done if you heard breathing under your bed? The sound. I just moved into a new apartment on the outskirts of Portland. Small, second floor, cozy. Perfect for starting over after a messy breakup and an even messier life. That night, as I lay in bed scrolling on my phone, I heard it. A sharp intake of breath, then silence. I paused my music. It wasn't my breathing. It was slower, deeper. I froze, waited. Told myself it was the old pipes, maybe something outside. But it wasn't. It came again, breathing under my bed. I wanted to check, but my body wouldn't move. You know that feeling when you're half asleep and your limbs are made of stone? It was like that. I stayed frozen for over an hour. Eventually, it stopped. The next morning, I rationalized it. Fatigue, stress, leftover trauma. I even laughed it off, until that night. I didn't hear breathing the next night, but when I woke up, something was off. My bedroom floor was carpeted, beige and cheap, but there were faint marks in the fibers, smudged shapes leading from the side of my bed to my closet. I don't own shoes like that, or boots, or anything that would have left deep indents like those. I checked the closet, nothing. But here's the worst part, the smell. A bitter metallic scent, like rust and sweat, clung to the air. I sprayed perfume, aired the place out, but the smell wouldn't go away. Still, I didn't call anyone. Who would believe me? Day 3. The scratches. I woke up to a sharp sting across my shin. When I lifted the covers, I saw it. 3 thin, red lines, like they'd been scratched onto my skin in the night. That's when I really started to panic. I set up my phone to record the room while I slept, just in case. I placed it on my dresser, hit record, and tried to sleep. At 3:12 a.m., the footage showed nothing, until the sheets behind me shifted ever so slightly. Then, from under the bed, a hand slowly reached out. I dropped my phone watching it. When I finally worked up the nerve to press play again, the hand had retreated. The screen cut to black at 3:14. The file corrupted itself. Day 4. The visitor. I called the landlord, told him I needed new locks. He looked at me funny, said the previous tenant had complained about similar things. Whispering, footsteps, shadows in mirrors, said she disappeared one night, vanished. Then he gave me a name, Liam Darrow. I Googled it. Turns out Liam Darrow had lived there 10 years ago. He was suspected of killing his girlfriend in that very apartment. Police found her body in the crawl space above the ceiling tiles, but Darrow was never caught. He disappeared the day they issued the arrest warrant. And suddenly, the smell made sense. The breathing, the scratches. I wasn't imagining anything. There was something in my room. That night, I set up my phone again, this time under the bed. I didn't sleep. At 2:47 a.m., the camera caught something, not movement, not sound, but an eye, wide open, staring directly into the lens, an eye under my bed, awake, watching me. That's when I heard it again, the breathing. Except now, it was louder and closer. I reached under the bed and grabbed the phone. The lens was warm, like someone had breathed directly on it. I ran. I spent the rest of the night in my car, parked 3 blocks away. The police. They didn't find anything. No prints, no signs of forced entry, no trace of anyone ever being in the apartment. But the officer looked unsettled. He asked me to describe what I saw in the footage. When I mentioned the eye, he went pale. "I worked the Darrow case," he whispered. "There was something we never released to the public. When we found his girlfriend's body, her eyes were missing." The final night I went back to pack my things. Everything was silent, too silent. I kept the phone recording in my pocket. I felt safer that way. Then, as I bent down to unplug a lamp, I saw something in the mirror just for a second. A face, pale, sunken, smiling, right behind me. I turned. Nothing, but I felt it, cold fingers brushing my back. I ran for the door, but it slammed shut in front of me. Something growled. Not animal, not human. I threw open the window and leapt out, sprained my ankle on impact. As I limped away, I saw something, or someone, pull the curtain aside and look out. Not Liam Darrow, something else. Said it had structural issues, but I think they knew, because a body was found in the walls. Liam Darrow, dead. And the coroner said he'd been there for over 8 years. So then, who was under my bed? Because I heard breathing. I saw the eye. And someone watched me every night. Some say Darrow was possessed. Others say evil leaves echoes. I don't know the truth, but sometimes, when I sleep, I still hear it. That slow, careful breathing, just beneath me. And when I look under the bed, nothing. But I know better now, because whatever it is, it's still waiting. Tell me in the comments, what would you have done if you found a killer under your bed? And remember, you can lock your doors, but you can't lock the things that live in silence.